Don't worry, Kate. I'll take care of the children. And Kate's like, great. And just leaves. But I'm like, hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games, I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. Now, my friends, let's go ahead and get into tonight's review. So, chat, typically before I do these reviews, I need to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen Fear Street 1994, chat, or read the books? Either or, Chad. Very curious. Newsy Ducky, Mr. Evan. I am back and waxed. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for that information. Do you mean vaxxed? Nope. Both. Fair enough. Vaxxed, waxed, and everything else in between. Darkside, I have not read nor watched. I don't have Netflix. Never read the books. Okay. I have seen her. Yes, there you go. I've heard of it, but I never was into the series. What else we got here? I read one book, The New Girl. Okay. All right, fair enough. All right. So what about the rest of you guys, Chad? Because for myself, have not seen this as Axel. I've read a lot of Goosebumps, but not this one. Interesting. So you guys haven't seen this. Usually gibberish, having gibberish, you gibberish, gibberish and jabberish. That's what I sound like to Color Me Hazel. Just make it like a made-up language. Melissa saw the movie, surprisingly liked it more than I thought I would. Same. I have seen it. The main character has the same name as my mom. Oh, Dina? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Very cool. So Goodman, I read the Goosebumps, but not this. Knowing Woman, I knew about Goosebumps, but not the series has missed me. Same. Yeah, we're right in the same boat. Goosebumps was my drug in the 90s. Oh, yeah, but I'm a 90s kid. Those books are made for 90s kids. Or at least a lot of 90s kids. I agree. Yeah, so interesting. Okay, well, we have a couple people who have seen this movie. Not a lot of people who read the books. Yeah, I'll say this. Like I said, I was a Goosebumps kid growing up. I was obsessed with those books. I think I had every single book in the initial mainline series, along with the some of the other books, like the sequel series that R.L. Stine did later on, where the covers got like really creepy and gross. I remember just like, oh my God, this is kind of like disturbing looking compared to like the first covers from way back in the day. I never read Fear Street. Again, I skipped over that. I think I went to other horror authors like Stephen King. So I was always aware of Fear Street, but I never read them. I was aware of their existence. And it was weird that they never did adaptations, but now, lo and behold, Chad, we do have, I think for this is the first adaptation of the book, certainly the first cinematic adaptation, Chad, the first film adaptation of them. And I knew that they were doing adaptation. I just never really paid much mind to it. I was like, oh, whatever. But after watching both this movie and the second one, and the third one has not yet come out yet, shall be out probably sometime later this week, dating this particular review. But after watching the first two, I've really enjoyed them. I was surprised how much I liked them, Chad. I mean, both of them are paying homage to respective, the respective subgenre, which slashers. That's what they're paying homage to, chat. 1994 is indulging in a lot of 90s slasher films, such as Scream, or I Know What You Did Last Summer, chat. Even a little bit of Final Destinations thrown in there. And then while 1978 is paying homage to things like Halloween and Friday the 13th. And, and it's doing those tropes. It's doing those tropes we typically associate with a lot of slasher films, Chad, of those various, time periods. You have the teenagers. They're all doing drugs. They're all having sex. They're doing dumb stuff. That's what these things are doing. The thing is, though, as I said during my non-spoiler review, what we did for them on Double Toasted not too long ago on the Sunday service, I was just surprised how well made they are, though, on a technical level. Like, the editing's all very good. I really like the lighting, how they transition from scene to scene, how they make those transitions very comedic. I was like, wow, this is just really well done. Like, I know some people are like kind of dogging on the music because it's like, oh, they're playing all the most famous 90s songs, they're playing all the most famous 70s songs and stuff. Again, I'm very ignorant when it comes to music, so I like the soundtrack. I think it's fun. I think it fits the films very well. Thank you, Badges 5 or 10 biddies. Hope you and Katie are doing well. Did you know that Digimon are the champions? I absolutely am in Digimon. Digimon first. Digimon are the champions. Of course I know that, man. I watch Digimon. It's no Pokemon. All right. You know, I'll be the very best, like no one ever was. I mean, it's not that quality, but I give respect to Digimon. I give respect to Digimon. And I think they're also very well paced, personally. You know, both 1994 and 1978. And yes, the only thing that's like I kind of dislike about them is that the writing's not great. I mean, you know, the characters, the teenagers are very stereotypical. The adults, with the exception of maybe of one or two, are incompetent, or at least borderline incompetent, or just non-existent. Like, this is kind of like this. People have compared it to like Charlie Brown. It's like the R-rated Charlie Brown, chat, with a lot of murder and a lot of sex, because adults are just not in this show. Like, they'll occasionally pop up, but for the most time, chat, like, these kids seemingly live alone or they're taking care of each other. I was like, huh. That's a very apt comparison. Like, there's literally no adults in sight. Or if there are adults here, chat, they're just fucking broken. They're just so bro. They've been beaten down by this town, chat, of what I always forget. I'm called Shady Oak, Shadyside, chat. Of course, it's shady. It's skeevy to me, skeevy side, chat. And so I really like both of these movies. You know, I like the first one more than the second one, but I still like the second one a lot. It's still very fun. It's very Friday the 13th, which I've always been I've never been the biggest fan. There's some entries I like, you know, to a degree. But I really like 94 because it's very much, you know, Scream, which I'm a huge fan of. I love the first and second Scream movies, chat. Think of the most of two movies. Yeah, 94 has a nice soundtrack, but Dina is listening to a song that doesn't exist in 94 in the open. I'm not. See, again, I wouldn't know. That would go over my head. That doesn't really particularly bother me. But for other people, I understand. I know that it was an issue for Martin, Corey, not so much myself as someone who is musically ignorant, chat, to say the very least. But no, I really like these movies. And I'm not too familiar with some of the creative team involved. It's directed by Leia Janiak, who, she doesn't have, like, I have this Wikipedia open, chat, and her name is not highlighted. So I can't click on her name, chat. But as of right now, she's doing a pretty goddamn good job, in my opinion, directing this one and the second one. So looking forward to see what she's going to do with a period piece, chat. And movies have been doing well critically. I'd say they're kind of in the 80s, I think, like on, you know, Rotten Tomatoes, if you want to go by that, chat. But consensus is pretty positive, chat. People are, some criticisms, of course, definitely. But overall, I really like them. I mean, especially if you like the slasher horror subgenre, then you should give these, and supernatural movies, which, you know, sometimes supernatural definitely plays a hand in a lot of slasher films. I would recommend checking them out. These are fun movies. They're kind of perfect for summertime, chat. And they also act as a good placeholder in between Stranger Things. They even use a number of Stranger Things actors, chat, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, I dig the hell out of them, chat. I'm having a lot of fun. But now, my friends, we have to go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details, chat, of this particular review of Fear Street 1994 Part 1, chat. We start, if you didn't know already, in the year 1994, chat. And where were all the kids in the year 1994? They were in a mall, chat. They were in the mall, and they were always hanging out there because they didn't give a shit, chat. This is a small town mall, by the way, so every single fucking teenager goes there, chat, because the whole fucking town is dying. Shadyside, chat. Like, all the businesses have been destroyed. There's rampant drug use. Everyone's an alcoholic. Everyone and their mom and their grandma and their grandpa and their dad, they're all alcoholics, shit. It's not great, okay? But at least we have the mall. Yes, mass consumerism. Just buy things to fill the hole where your heart used to be. If I buy things, chat, then it makes me feel better. It's like, that's the state of this fucking town. It's not great, chat. And we start off, chat, where it's like, it all started out as a prank until it turned to murder. And it's like, oh shit, what a intro line, though. It's perfect for a slasher film, chat. And who's the one who said this line, chat? Maya Hawke, the Spawn, chat. The spawn of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, chat. Combined, they created this girl. And of course, For those of you who are familiar with Maya Hawke, you recently saw her in a number of things. Obviously, Stranger Things Season 3, which I thought she was one of the best things in that. Like, I like Stranger Things Season 3. I thought I had some issues with it, but I thought her and Steve and the guy that can't grow teeth, they were great. I loved the trio. I loved their dynamic chat. She did a really good job. I imagine she was in other things beforehand, but this is what really put her out there. This is what put her out there in the pop culture zeitgeist, Chad. She says, I'm going to keep going at that well because that's what's working for me, Chad. She also has a small role in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Chad. It's one of the Manson murders, although the one that got some fucking sense and took off, so good for her, right? But thank you, Peter Mitchell, for the 5 biddies. Hope you're doing well. American capitalism, fuck yeah, okay? Just ingest it. Put it in your tummy where, you know, where your soul used to be, Chad. That's what it is. Just buy things, buy things. But she's working at a bookstore, Chad, looking at like a Walden Books, or whatever the 90s equivalent of it was. And she's basically selling a Fear Street, I think it's a Fear Street-esque book. It doesn't just say Fear Street. I think it just takes off the main title, and it has, like, the new girl, and selling it to this mom. And she says, oh, you're going to love that one. It's very fun. And the mom, she takes the book and just looks so disgusted, so disgustingly at Maya Hawke, and says, yeah, this book is for my stepdaughter. And she emphasizes the word step. Like, you know, it's like, she's not my biological daughter. I did not birth her between my thick white thighs. She didn't slip out or nothing, okay? She's my stepdaughter. Like, I'm tolerating her. I'm just getting this for her birthday so she can leave me the fuck alone and so I can still act like a mother. And Maya Hawke's like, Jesus, lady, I'm sorry. And she's like, you know, she takes the book and she's like, these books are trash, okay? And then fucking Maya Hawke's just like, that'll be $250, ma'am. Like, I'll give her this. Like, that type, like, working those kind of jobs, chat, is hard because you got to deal with people constantly, and people are shitty, and they're impatient, and so I felt for Maya Hawke in this scene, chat, but I'm sure she'll be okay. I'm sure this will be the worst her day will get. Anyway, she gives her the book, and the mom walks away without saying thank you and goodbye, and Maya Hawke's like, have a nice day, which I love that. I love that, chat. But at this point, you know, the mall's closing down, all the lights are, you know, shutting off. But I love even the use of color here because I feel with a lot of neon, Chad. You know me. I'm a lover of neon, Chad. They got all the blues and the pinks and the purples, Chad. I love the way the movie looks, particularly this opening scene. It's very, very cool. And she's closing up the bookstore, the Walden Books, whatever the equivalent is. But then she gets a little ring-a-ding-ding on the phone, chat, and she picks it up, and who is it? It's Ryan. It's Ryan who works at the Spencer's equivalent. I feel like it's Spencer's, chat, because you always went to Spencer's back in the day. What was the other thing that was also called Spencer's? It was like another version of that store, but I remember it as Spencer's, chat. And it's Spencer's. You go in, and it was always dark. Hot Topic. Yeah, it works like a Hot Topic / Spencer's type of store, chat. And it's always dark. They always have the dark lights in there, like it's a fucking crime scene, chat, or like it's, you know, you're looking for all the blood and cum stains on the carpet, chat. At which I'm sure there's a lot in that store. There's lava lamps and shit, and like, you know, weird, cool, like, t-shirts. It's like, oh, that t-shirt's so cool. It's like Mickey Mouse, but giving the finger. It's like, whoa, that's awesome. But it always smelled. Remember when you went to a Hot Topic or a Spencer's and it had that smell? I could never, like, what was that smell, Chat? It was always in a Hot Topic / Spencer's, and it was like this kind of like plasticky, like just completely fake, inauthentic I don't know how to describe it. It was like, it always like, it's like an unnatural stench. Like, it wasn't super stinky. Like, it was like, ugh, like someone like shit or someone's like a dead body in there, but it's like, it's like a synthetic smell. And I don't know if I was the only one. It's like patchouli oils. I don't know what that is. But if that's what it is, fair enough. If it's patchouli oils, that's why I don't know what it is. It must be that. Thank you for the 5 minutes. Smell like fake Greek cred and debt. Damn, fair enough. Because they always sold Nolly toys and such. Oh, because is that what the patchouli oils is? And all the plastics and stuff? That must be it. It was always gross. But Ryan's calling her. He's like, ring-a-ding-ding. And they're having like a back and forth. Like, they know each other. Like, not really dating, but I get the sense that they're kind of like friends. Maybe he's interested, maybe he's interested in her. You know, they go back and forth and stuff, you know. But then phone clicks off. And she's like, Ryan, hello? And then she's like, oh, that's weird. And she hangs up the phone. She goes outside and she's walking around and stuff, and she hears something moving, Chad, and she can't tell because all the lights are off and it's dark and shit. And then, oh no, a black man! And a black man appears, Chad, but it's okay. It's just Martin, the janitor. He goes, hi. Have a good night. That's all he is. They made a black man a jump scare, Chad. How shitty is that? It's like, what? Oh, God damn. It's the first scare of the movie. He's just doing his job, Chad. He's just cleaning the mall. Okay, he's the janitor. Yeah, he has to go home and he's got to fucking mop up all the baby shit and vomit everywhere, Chad. And the first jump scare is a black man. So he's like, bye, my hawk. I'll see you later. But he goes into the bathroom, Chad. After, oh no, she does get spooked because she feels a plastic hand upon her shoulder. She turns around and it's a blow-up sex doll being held by Ryan, who's groping it. He's just like the big, not really big, Chad, very pointy. I don't know why anyone would want to have sex with this fucking thing. It looks very uncomfortable. It feels like I would cut my skin if I was thrusting into it, Chad. So not for me. I'm not shaming anybody. If you have a sex doll, go at it. I think that's totally fine. You do you. But it looks very uncomfortable, chap. Mysterious Ronan, welcome. Boo, good night. Good to see you, Mysterious Ronan. Hope you're doing very well. Bach, welcome to stream. My hawk is quite beautiful, is what I would say. But she's like, Ryan, Jesus Christ, why the hell did you scare me? He's like, oh, I didn't mean to. And Jasmine, sorry. He's like, you actually named it. I mean, I was gonna call her Big Tits McGee, but it didn't feel like a very nice name. And he's like, whoo! And she's like, all right. Well, you're being a creep, but listen, you have a car. You have the car tonight, right? He goes, yeah, of course. He's like, I could use a lift home. He's like, why do you need me to give you a lift home? Because one, my mom, because he asked her, that's what he asked her, chat. He asked her, like, why are you doing working another shift today? And she says, well, my mom decided to spend her fucking money on lotto tickets instead of spending it on the gas bill. Okay, so I have to work a double shift, and that's why you need to take me home, and it's nighttime, and I'm scared. I don't want to walk, alone home. And he's like, yeah, no problem. I'll drive you home. And she's like, thank you. Thank you, Mordecai, for the 5 biddies. Hope you're doing well. Sup, Chris? I looked at my beard and had to shave it off. Oh, no! I hate it so bad. I got used to my... Oh, I'm sorry, man. How'd you fuck it up? You go accidentally? It happens, man. It happens. Oh. Yeah, hope you're okay. Hope you're doing okay. Oh, Senior Spot. Green salutations. Hope you're living long and prospering, good sir. Always a pleasure seeing you here. But they part their ways. But then Ryan, there's like a fly buzzing near him. Goes, and lands on it. It goes, Ryan. And he goes, would you say something, Maya? And she goes, no, you weirdo. He's like, okay. He's like, all right, that was weird. And he walks back to Spencer/Hot Topic while she has to close up Walden Bookshed. And she's trying to lower, those big old gates, those big old metal gates you always see at the mall. She was like, oh shit. Every time I saw it, I was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. They're gonna close the mall. But I always thought, like, what if we stayed here? What if we stayed at the mall, Chad? That would be so awesome. We'd be kings for the night, but we never did. But she tries to close it, but it doesn't go all the way, chat, because, shitty 1990s technology, chat. The door shutters suck. But she goes back in there, chat, and she's making sure all the proper books are stacked for tomorrow. She wants to get it done ahead of time, so she needs to spend a little extra time. Good for her. But as she's moving, as she's stacking the books up in chat, all 90s novels and things. Thank you for working up the Benny. I attach a clip to and shave a spot where here's really morning. I was super tired. Oh, you can do that, man. You can cover that up. You can cover just get down like really fine. That's sometimes what I have to do. It's like, okay, I fucked up, and now you go whoop whoop whoop. That's all you did, man. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that though. But she's stacking books and shit. She sees someone like move out of the corner of her eye, chat, and like a book falls down. She goes over to pick up the book. She puts the book back, and she still hears something moving. She's like, Ryan, who's there, Ryan? If you're doing that, you're being such a fucking dick. And she goes over there, chat. And but what does she see? Oh, she don't see no goddamn Ryan, chat. What she sees is another book on the floor, and she picks up a big old hardcover book, and she's walking. And then because Ryan was drinking a soda last time, chat offered some. She was drinking it too. That they shared the saliva, chat, so they clearly know each other pretty well. So maybe, welcome back. I'm talking about Maya Hawke in a bookstore right now. It's very exciting. And she sees this drink that's been spilled. And there's like little droplets of blood and stuff. She's like, what the fuck is that about? And she goes over to the desk and she's like, looks over, but no one's there. She turns around and said, oh no, it's a skull face guy. It's a guy like Scream, chat, just like Ghostface. And he's wearing like a skull mask and goes, "Wah!" He tries to like thrust a knife inside of her tummy, but he would have, chat. It doesn't go inside her tummy because she has the hardcover book that blocks the thrusting blade. She goes, ow! And she like fucking hits him with the book. And she's running as fast as she fucking can, chat, trying to get out of there. But this skull face guy is coming for her, chat. And she's like, oh shit, this is not good. This is not good. So she keeps running. She keeps running, chat. And at one point, she crawls underneath the gate. She's crawling underneath the goddamn gate, chat. Oh, she also calls the police because she hits him. And then she goes and she calls the police. And it's like, there's a fucking crazy guy in here. Please, for the love of God, help me. And, you know, you're like, well, ma'am, can you please say that again? And it's like, we'll have to send an officer over there. She's like, fucking help me, Jesus. And then the guy comes over, chat, and he goes, and he slashes against her tummy. Like, right there, chat, like, guts are coming out. She's like, oh, God. And she's got to keep all of her insides inside of her tummy, chat. And she's like, oh. And she's, like, going through the mall and stuff. Eventually, she goes to the Spencer's looking for Ryan. Ryan is not there, chat. But she does find Jasmine, the blow-up doll, chat. She's like, I gotta need Jasmine for this, because then the fucking Skullface guy, he goes in there, chat, looking for her. And she's like, I'm gonna wipe some of my tummy blood on the doll and leave like a, just go, like she's squirting out some of her tummy blood onto the ground, chat, leaving a trail. It's like if you had, like, remember if you had like a water balloon, right? But, like, it, like, popped a little bit, and it's, like, leaking. It's kind of like that. So she's doing that with her tummy. She's like, okay. It's, like, spraying outward. And she, like, goes all the way to this changing booth, chat, spraying her tummy juices and blood juices out. And she rubs some of it on Jasmine, the blow-up doll. And, you know, Skullface guy, he sees the trail, and he goes over there and goes, oh, and he tries to stab at the doll, chat. But, oh, it was Jasmine. He's like, oh. And meanwhile, fucking Maya Hawke, she's, like, waddling out, like, oh, it's like, you know, calling for help. But then she sees that Skullface guy has clearly been fucking busy because he stabbed and killed a whole bunch of people, chat. Some of their heads have been cut off. Some are sitting in chairs, like, oh, just dead still, like, like in shock as they died. Not good. But then fucking Skullface guy comes up behind her, chat, knocks her down, and he just starts stabbing her, chat. Like, it's like, I thought Maya Hawke was gonna be in the series for a long time. No, chat. This is 90s horror, chat. 90s horror broke a lot of tropes. Very deconstructionist horror, chat, based on a Wes Craven Scream. And so Maya Hawke, you know, for all intents and purposes, is the Drew Barrymore character from the opening of Scream, chat. She got like top billing when that movie came out. She was in all the marketing, but it's like she's the first one to die. What? And so the Skullface guy, he says stab. She's like, there's blood erupting. All looks good. They use a mixture of both practical effects and CGI or enhanced CGI effects. They also straight up use CGI. And it all looks really good. I'm very impressed by the aesthetic of this movie. They do a great job. But she's like fighting him, chat, like going at his face. She rips off the skull mask, and who is it, chat? It's Ryan. It's Ryan who was, you know, honking on Jasmine's hoo-has. And she's like, Ryan, stop. But he's not stopping, chat. He keeps going. He's like, oh! And right before he's about to do one big old stab in Maya Hawke's face, chat, he gets shot in the head, chat, and he goes fucking skull blasted back, chat, brain matter everywhere, and he drops right next to Maya Hawke, and we see good old Sheriff Nick Good, chat, Nick Good of Sunnyvale. Actually, the sheriff of both Sunnyvale. I know he is the sheriff of Sunnyvale, chat, but also goes over to Shadyside, since fucking sheriff of Shadyside keeps getting killed every year. It's fucked up, and he fucking domed. He domed Ryan, chat, and we see Maya just and she dies. And we get this really cool opening credit sequence, which looks great, using all sorts of colors and it's like the book covers and stuff. Really love it, chat. Very classy. We then cut from the wonderful opening credits, chat, and we then cut to Dina. She is our lead character. No, not Maya Hawke, chat. Good old Dina, who's the actress' name. I don't know the actor's name. I believe her name is Kiana Madeira. I'm going to call her Dina for the sake of convenience, chat. And she's scribbling on a note. We see her room. It's very 90s punk looks to be a troubled youth. Everyone in Shadyside's a troubled youth, chat. It sucks to live there. We get a sense. We already got a sense of that in the mall, chat, when Maya Hawke was saying that her mother spent all that fucking money on lotto tickets instead of spending on the gas bill. You know, these are important things. Yeah, listening to Only Happy When It Rains, she went a year into the future. That's fine. I'll allow it. I don't know. I'm ignorant when it comes to music. It fit the scene for me. Samuel doing a whale man coat? Yeah. Ooh. That's what she said before she died. But Dina, she's scrolling on a note, and it's to this person named Sam. I guess we assume, oh, Sam's her boyfriend. And she's like, Sam, you fucking suck, and I hate you. Here's your stuff back. Sam, I still love you. I don't know when to break up. Sam, I don't know, I'm confused. I'm a teenager and I'm going through all these changes. And so she gets up, chat. We get a sense of like what her home life is like. She's calling off for her dad, but the only vestiges of her dad she can find, chat, not like he got stabbed and there's meat everywhere. No, beer cans, chat. He's a drinker. Empty glass bottles of whiskey is like, the sink is piled high with dirty dishes and shit and beer cans inside this thing. It's like, okay, your dad's clearly an alcoholic. Things aren't going well. And then she starts calling for her brother Josh, chat. But Josh, he don't hear it, chat, because he's down the basement and he's using 90s computer era technology, chat. He's in a chat room with Milady, just like the fucking meme which you've seen before. I don't know what the like miss like, I don't know what it is. But it's like he's talking, we assume a girl online, and I'm gonna call her Milady for the sake of convenience, chat, and he's like Mr. Silence or some shit. Like Fedora, like Milady, yes, very much so. And they're going back and forth, and they're talking about the recent murder that happened at Shadyside Mall. How Maya Hawke got along with like 7 other people, chat. We also see on the TV throughout this scene, we see a good old sheriff, Nick Good, chat. Great name. He's a good sheriff for Shadyside and Sunnyvale. And he's saying, yeah, looks like Ryan, this kid, you know, seemingly ordinary teenager, just lost it. And he killed 8 people. It's like, huh, interesting. Is he a voyeur like our Josh? Yes, he's always checking cams. Thank you, guys, for the 5 biddies. But you know, he's typing her way, and all of a sudden it's creeping up towards him, chat. But oh, it's his sister. And she's like, Jesus Christ. And she grabs the keyboard. He's like, no, I ain't my computers. I wasn't jerking. She's like, you gotta stop yanking your jerking tube, okay? All right, Dad, we only pay so much for the AOL internet and shit. You know how much 90s internet cost? It costs a lot of money, and Dad told you to stay off of this. But I talked to my cyber girlfriend. She's not real, Josh. She's real to me, yeah, lady. He's like, we gotta go to school now, okay? And they're like, all right, shit. And so they all go to school. They all go to school. 90s music, punk scene. School's miserable. We're in a small town. We're all doing drugs. The jocks are all about football, and the cheerleaders are all about cheerleading. And like that's gonna be the pinnacle of their life. And then they'll all fucking go downhill, and they'll all be using drugs, and they'll be alcoholics, chat, by the time they're 20. That's just how it is, chat. I mean, they get lucky. If they get lucky by 20, some of them are already doing it. But, Dina's like, all right, I'm sorry I was so mean to you. Listen, have a good day at school. Let me know if everything goes okay. He goes, okay, you too. She says, see you later, Mr. Silence, whatever the fuck his name is. And he's walking, and he sees one of the hot cheerleaders he has a crush on, chat. Her name is Kate, and she wears the uniform throughout the entire movie. And he's like, oh, God, she's so pretty. Oh, I want to say something to her. I got to say something to her. But then a fucking jock comes over and goes, ha, you're fat and you're nerdy. And he pushes him down. He's like, no. He's so sad. So sad, chat. Meanwhile, we get introduced to a number of other characters. You gotta get the general, like, you know, the mindset of the school, chat. Because, you know, we go to Dina's locker. She's opening up her locker and shit. She's so downcast and stuff. And, like, immediately, like, next to her, like, 1 locker over, like, maybe 2 lockers over, is Maya Hawke's locker. And it's all filled up with notes of people saying, always remember you, never forgotten, your memory lives on, and all that shit. And there's this creepy fucking guy that walks up with a knife and goes, and he writes R.I.P. Kind of weird way to do that, but okay, fair enough. And then she's like, oh, that's kind of weird. But eventually, who stops there, Chad? It's fucking Kate. Kate's there. And she's like, oh my God, did you fucking hear about Maya Hawke because she got stabbed? Isn't it, like, awesome? And Tina's like, no. No, it's not awesome. No, everyone's like, woo! Yeah, Sarah Fair, she got another one. Woo! Like, it was like what? People are celebrating, like, the Sarah Fear shit, which we learn more about, is this witch that was executed, that was hung by the neck, chat, that was lynched in 1666 by the communities of Sunnyvale and Shadyside. They were one community before, but then they eventually split up. And everyone's like, and that's what Shadyside's mascot is for the football team and everything. And she's like, no, it's not. It's like, it's not cool. It's fucked up. I don't like it. Kate's like, okay, whatever. Jesus Christ. Well, let's go in the bathroom and, like, do drugs and stuff. And so they go to the bathroom, chat, and it's all, they all graffitied, like, oh, the witch got another one. It's like, cause no explanation for shit. And then, you know, fucking Dina's about to open the door, then, bah! Simon breaks out. She goes, hello, everybody. And it's Simon. He's like, I'm here to sell you drugs. Okay, I got also, and they call them bananas. They call them blueberry shit. They have code names. They have fruit names. Shit. Victor Nuggerfunk, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing very well. Kate is a great character. I like all the characters in the movie. I mean, they're kind of dicks, like, here, because they're like, wow, you guys just don't give a shit. And then Simon starts singing the whole song about the you know, Sarah Fears, the witch and stuff. And Dina's like, guys, like, it's not like that. The witch didn't do it. It's like, what's your explanation for it? She goes, what probably fucking happened is this Ryan guy, which we learn more about throughout the rest of the movie. He reaching graduate of Shadyside High School, started working the mall, and then, like, they even bring out Martin the janitor, by the way, chat. The first jump scare, Martin the janitor, he's fine. He's alive. He was the sole survivor of the massacre at the Shadyside Mall. He's like, Ryan was a cool dude, man. He was reading comic books and stuff, and he relaxed, and I like talking to him. He was always nice to me. And they're like, no explanation as to why fucking Ryan went off as Ryan Torres, went insane and murdered 8 of his friends or something. But Dina's like, this guy was just, you know, again, like so many of the rest of us in this shitty town, was miserable, wanted to off himself, but before he did so, he wanted to take 8 other people with him, okay? That's the explanation. Shadyside sucks because it's soul-sucking. It takes away from so many of us. Half the fucking population is alcoholics and drug addicts. What do you expect? It's not the witch's curse, okay? And they're like, it's the witch. It's the witch, Dina. And before they leave, Dina says, hey, Kate, listen, I know you're going to be going to the Sunnyvale versus Shadyside football game. There's also going to be a vigil, too, there. We're going to find about that in a second. Could you give this to Sam when you see Sam there? And she goes, well, what? I mean, aren't you going to? Aren't you going, you know, you're in band, so you should be joining. She's like, I quit band. She's like, that was like the last of your extracurricular activities. Why don't you just talk to Sam when you get there, okay? You should do this yourself. I'm not going to be the in-between, okay? This is before cell phones, chat, so you couldn't break up someone with text messages, okay? Got to do it the hard way. And so they hear the loudspeakers come on, and the principal's like, we would like all members of the Shadyside football team and band and cheerleading squad to report to the gymnasium. We have a special announcement for you. And it's like, great. And they go outside, and this fucking piece of shit psychopath is dragging this mannequin with a knife, like, wedged in its chest, chat. And it's like, it's Sarah Fears. It's Sarah Fears. She's cursed another one. She's killed another one. And it's, like, done up to be, like, Maya Hawke. And fucking Simon and Kate are like, yay! Yay! It's like, what are you saying yay for? It's terrible. It's so shitty. Anyway. They all report to the gymnasium, and they're there, and the gym teacher and the coach or whatever the fuck he is, he's like, all right, guys, so, you know, when we go to Sunnyvale, we're going to do our absolute best against those Sunnyvalers, but we're also going to have a candlelight vigil for Maya Hawke and also for all the victims of the mall. And Dina's like, oh, whatever. Like, who cares about dead people? You were caring about 5 minutes? It doesn't matter. And so then we get a nice little transition shot, and she's all done up in her band uniform, and she's like, I hate this. And she boards the bus, and all of her bandmates are like, I thought you fucking quit. You actually don't even know what oh, she's a drummer. She's a drummer, because she has her drumsticks and shit. And they're like, we thought you quit. And she sits down the bus, chat, and people are farting all over the place. It's like, remember the school bus? Everyone's just farting, and it's gross. Just disgusting. And the bus goes down there, and eventually they end up at and I love that, because we go through Shadyside, and it's all shitty. Like, all the businesses are closed. They're all boarded up with, you know, wood and stuff. Houses look like shit. Just poor. Just looks poor, chat. All the poors live here. But then we transitioned, like, now leaving Shadyside, as it's called. Someone scrawled in, like, red paint. It's also the murder capital of the United States of America, chat. There has been so many serial killers and massacres since 1666. It's been going on, chat, for 400 goddamn years, or nearly 400 years. But they're go through the town. They end up in Sunnyvale, and it's all these colonial homes, chat. A lot of fucking money. It's well taken care of. All the lawns are pristine. All the public buildings are great. All the businesses are open. Like, oh, these Sunnyvalers, they just know how to do it, unlike those Shadyside. Am I right? But then they all end up at the football field, and they're all like, all right, guys. Just, oh, that's good, because Sheriff Nick Good's there, and he's doing the speech, and he's like, it's like, as your sheriff, and, it's been an absolute pleasure to be, to be your sheriff, and I know my brother, who is the mayor of Sunnyvale, is also very happy to be your mayor, and my heart goes out to you Shadysiders, what you've gone through, the tragedy, but I tell you what. Sunnyvale is always there for you with open arms and a hug. And we look at Sunnyvale and we're like, fucking Shadyside. They're all pieces of shit. They all suck. It's like, well, just dicks. But then Dina, she spots two individuals, chat. She sees this guy, this fucking football stud, he's blonde hair, he's got muscles and stuff, and he's standing right next to this cheerleader, chat. She's like, Sam. And the guy is just grabbing on this, like, you're smooching things and you're calling. He just grabs her ass, chat, like forcefully grabs it with both hands, and just like lifts it. And she's like, and she's like about to vomit. And she runs away. And then she's like sitting in this this tunnel, and she like opens this box open, chat. She opens this box open, and we see in there, chat. We don't see the big, tall, muscular, blonde guy, chat, in that box. No. We see a girl. We see the girl that the guy was groping, and we're like, oh, I get it. And then Sam appears, chat. It's the cheerleader, and she's like, Dina, I didn't think you'd be here. She goes, yeah. Didn't think I'd fucking be here. Yeah, I didn't think I'd see that goddamn man grabbing your ass. Is it harder than when Dom grabs? Like, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I was like, oh, I look like it hurt. I hope they did that in one take, because it definitely bruised it. No doubt about it. They must have had like a guy on staff, like, okay, like, you got to grab it hard, but then we got to call the medical professionals to deal with the bruising, because it's like, Jesus Christ. He always grabs butt and tells everyone they got the third. Yeah, exactly. But she's like, I saw that guy grabbing your ass. And she's like, that's Peter, okay? Peter's like, he's great. She's like, you think Peter's so fucking good? You think that you could just move from Shadyside and completely change your life? She's like, and Sam's like, listen, Dina, you're the one who broke up with me, okay? Sunnyvale, between us, you're only 30 minutes away from me, okay? All right? And she's like, you don't fucking understand. Once you will never come back to Shadyside. You know that it sucks here. Everyone's a piece of shit here, and you want to pretend to not be a piece of shit like the rest of us, okay? All right? Here's your fucking stuff back. I never want to see you again. She's like, Dina, you have fucking problems. You're a cold-hearted bitch. Get out of here. They're just going back and forth and shit. Thank you. The Ghost of Jubilees. You know what is weird? In the books, it wasn't so much about the town of Shadyside as it was about Fear Street. They mentioned the street in this. Really? They don't. Yeah, they don't. No, I think the street shows up once. Because we do see a sign where it says Fear, because it's named after the witch, Sarah Fears. I do say it. Boys are gross. Sam! They are super gross. Like, why'd you let a boy touch you? Ew. But anyway, we then cut back to the candlelight. They're all holding the candlelight vigil, chat. And fucking Sheriff Nick Good and his brother Mayor Good, they're all doing their whole thing. Like, oh, we love you, Shadysiders, and we're sorry about the tragedies that occur with you. And then for whatever reason, some of the Sunnyvale football teams are like, more like Shadyside. And then they're like, oh, you motherfuckers better not. And you're like, what the fuck you say, Sunnyvaler? What the fuck you say, preppy boy? And he's like, nothing. I'm just saying that you guys are pieces of shit. Bah! Right in the fucking kisser, chat. And they all start fighting. They all start going at it. And Dina and Sam, they stop to just behold this candlelight vigil for Maya Hawke. Everyone's like, forget that bitch. Fuck her. We're going to fight. And then we see Kate, and she's like, fuck those Sunnyvalers. And then she just gets punched in the fucking face. And it's a hard cut. She's like, ow. She's like, God damn it. Fuck those guys. I don't give a shit. We're going to get back at them. We're going to come back here after this evening, and we're going to just rip their assholes out. Are we right? Yeah, we're right. Yeah. While Dina's just like in the back of the bus, like, hello, darkness, my old friend. Just like that playing. Just so sad and shit. And she's like, but then she hears like something hitting against like the back of the bus window, and she like looks over. She looks over and she's like, huh? And she sees these Sunnyvales. Just like, woo, yeah, we got beer. And they're throwing all these beers and shit and just inanimate objects at the back of the bus. The bus driver's just like, apparently does not care. Never see this bus driver, chat. But, you know, these Sunnyvalers are driving this, and, you know, Dina, she looks out the window, she's like, what the fuck? And she's like, hey, guys, come here, look at this, look at these fucking Sunnyvalers. They all go up there, and Simon, he's the mascot, he is the witch, he's like, oh, Sunnyvalers, you want a good look? Check this out. He pulls his fucking pants down, and we see his ass, and we see his schlong, and his cherry shed just all up on the window. He goes, oh, fuck Sunnyvale. But then they throw more beer and stuff at the window. And he pulls his pants back up, chat. And Sam, but then Kate's like, oh, Dina, she's like, what? And she's like, is that? And also Simon's like, oh shit, it is. And who's in the passenger side next to, we assume, Peter's chat, along with all of his football bros, is Sam. She's like, I don't want to be here. But Dina doesn't give a shit. She doesn't look at Sam and see like, oh, a girl who just clearly was just kind of bullied to be in there. She's like, I'm gonna fuck her up. I just see my ex-girlfriend who was getting her ass grabbed by this guy, and I want to be to grab Sam's ass. I'm the ass grabber in the relationship here. And then she sees the big old keg of Kool-Aid behind her, and she's like, come on, guys, help me up. We're gonna fucking throw this Kool-Aid at him. And they're like, and I love that the first time in the movie, like Kate and Simon, who've kind of been kind of shitty for the most part, they after this scene, they have a transitional period, or a transitional point, and they become like pretty fun, entertaining characters. But I'd say on the bus they do. But it's like, are you sure that's responsible, Dean? She's like, come on, guys, it'll be fun. Will it be fun, though? We could endanger them. It's like, oh, fuck it. And they're like, open the door, open the back door. And they open the back door, chat. And they're like, okay, on 3. 1, 2, and then Kate's like, Dina, your nose is bleeding. It's gross. She goes, huh? And then she goes, blah, and then she accidentally, like, throws the keg, but she lets go of it accidentally, chat, and it's too heavy for Kate to hang on to, and so it goes, boom, it lands on the windshield of the car, and we hear Sam Peters go, ah! As they go off the road and just, and boom, hit a tree, chat, and they're like, ooh. That's not good. It's not good. Are you guys okay? Stop the bus. Stop the bus. There's been an accident. And so we then cut down to the car, chat, hit a fucking tree, just impaled the tree. The football players are like, they're all been impaled. Now they're fine. They're fine. They're just severely concussed and probably have injuries that will put them out for the rest of the season, kill their college opportunities, chat, because they're going to get on that football scholarship because they all busted, they're busted up on their senior years. They're going to lose out, and then they will become drug addicts and alcoholics like their parents. Actually, it's Sunnyvale, so it should work out for them. But Sam, she gets out of the car. She's like, hang, and then she drops, and she's like feeling around all this like red moss and shit, and it looks like really gross. It's like, ew, it's like, I wouldn't touch that. It looks like that'll infect your skin. It looks like it's gonna go inside you. And she touches something, she feels something, she goes, ew, and then she gets this like really weird fucking like vision. It's all red, chat, and she sees like these people in colonial times, pilgrim times, chat. And she sees like this woman getting hanged, and there's like guy without his eyes. His eyes have been scooped out, and all these kids without eyeballs, and it's like, oh, that's not good. And then she's like, she comes out of the vision, and then Dina's there along with Simon and Kate, and you're like, are you okay? Are you okay? And Sam kind of looks at him like, and she like vomits. She vomits blood on everybody. Sam's not. For the rest of the movie, Sam has a rough time. She's not. It does not get better for Sam Chap, but she's kind of like a little derpy. She's a little derpy for the rest of the movie, a little cross-eyed, and vomiting blood, copious amounts of blood. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Like, it covers Simon. Someone gets on Dina's shoe and stuff. And it's like, ooh. Eventually, the police get there. And it's Sheriff Nick Good. Sheriff Nick Good is on. He's on the. Like, she's a good sheriff, Chet. He's on the case. He's on the case most days. And he shows up there, and he's taking questions of everybody. They've hospitalized Sam, put in the ambulance and stuff. And he's like, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. Then Sheriff Good's like, okay, so I want to get a few things down, like about this, accident. Dina finished. Yeah, accident. So there were eyewitnesses that said that you had opened the back door of the bus along with some of your friends. Is that true? She goes, no, I don't remember that. No. And he goes, yeah. Because that's what the other kids say. The other kids say they don't know, and even some of the people driving the car, like, they don't know. And we cut between them. They all got their story straight to. They're saying the exact same fucking things. But Sheriff Nick Good's like, I know you fucking kids are lying to me, all right? Like, I can't prove it, but I know you're lying. And he says, listen, okay, God damn it. God, you stupid fucking kids. Here's my number. This is my number, my personal fucking number to my office, not 911. Please call me if you recall everything, okay? I'm here to help you. And she goes, sure. And Kate's like, anything you want, officer. And Mr. Pierce like, of course, Officer Good. Us Sunnyvalers are always here to help the police of Sunnyvale. And then we cut to Simon. He goes, fuck you, pig. And he's arrested. No, he's fine. But it's like, all right. Eventually, they all go home. They all go home. And where are we now at this point? Oh yeah, that's right. After the investigation, chat, we then cut back to Dina's home, and she's really worried about Sam, and she's like, shit, I should call her mom or her parents and somehow get in contact with her because the hospital won't let me see her at this point. They only accept family members, so I'm gonna call her mom and make sure that she's okay. And she gets on the phone, and here's my number. No, Miss Ducky, no. But she calls the Sam's place in Sunnyvale, and she's like, hey, Sam, are you there? And then Mrs. Sam's mom, whatever her name is, Mrs. Sam's mom, she picks up. She goes, hello? She goes, oh, hi, Mrs. Sam's mom. This is, it's Dina. Listen, I just want to make sure that, I know it's been a while, right? I just want to make sure that, like, Sam's doing okay. Everything that happened was kind of scary. And then Sam's mom's like, Dina, listen, okay? Just leave Sam alone. You've ruined her life enough with all of your lesbian antics. Goodbye, click. And Dina's like, oh. And she gets very mad. As you would be, lesbian antics. All your lesbianisms. It's like, oh no, chap. Then she's fucking pissed. She's irate, which you would be when someone calls you, it's like saying, blaming you for her daughter's accident, which she kind of is, at fault. But, saying that also because of your lesbian antics, that goes too far, Chad. That goes too far in my book. Anyway, I'm in lesbians with you. Extra juicy antics, indeed. And so she's mad. She's storming around the house and stuff. Josh, she's downstairs, typing on his computer, talking to Milady 101 or whatever her name is. But then she, stops because she looks out the window and she sees, this fucking guy in a skull mask just stare. Oh, by the way, I should set up. Before Officer Nick Good left, Peters, he came up to Dina. He's like, I'm going to fuck you up, you lesbian bitch. They always, want to emphasize the lesbian part. Mrs. Sam's mom, plus she told to push your trash. Fair enough, it's true. But he's like, I'm going to fuck you up, you lesbian bitch, okay? You and your friends, lesbo, they're dead. They're fucking dead. And he's, hugging her and shit. Officer Nick Good's like, I know you're saying, bad things to her, but I can't prove it. And then he leaves. But then, so we cut back to Dina's home, and she's there, and she sees this guy in a skull mask, and she's like, oh, it's that fucking Peters guy, this piece of shit. All right, goddamn it. Okay, I'm gonna call because next door, chat, the neighbors, Kate is babysitting these two twins, chat, along with Simon, who is also organizing all their drugs. That's what's so funny, is she's babysitting these kids, and she's asked these kids to organize all their drugs for them, what they're gonna fucking sell. And she's like, you gotta put all the purples here, all the blues here, all the yellows here, and all the reds here, okay? Make these piles. After you make those piles, I want you to take 2 from each pile and 1 extra one from the middle pile, okay? And put them in this bottle, all right? Put them in that bottle, okay? Can you do that? And they're like, yeah. Are you going to give us $5 after one? Yes, I'm going to give you $5 each after you're done. It's like, oh my God. Meanwhile, Simon, he's watching Jaws 2 and just having a good time. But then fucking Kate comes in, is like, listen, you got to fucking fold the laundry, okay? I have the kids organizing our drugs for us, okay? Fold the laundry. He goes, all right, Jesus. And he takes off his fucking shirt. She goes, oh my God, are you still wearing that? This is from like last night. This is like the next day. He's like, are you still wearing the shirt where Sam vomited blood on you like the Exorcist? He goes, I had to work a fucking double shift. What do you want from me? And she goes, you got to fucking change your shirt. You freak? And he's like, whatever. And he goes at you. He starts organizing stuff. And eventually, Kate, hears the phone. She goes in the kitchen. She picks it up, and it's Dina's like, there's like this fucking creepy. Look outside. That fucking Peters guy's here, and he's like stalking Josh and I. And Kate looks out, says, I don't see anybody. I don't see anyone near your house right now, at least from this side. She goes, go get Simon. Tell him to come over here to check. And they're like, all right, I'll go get Simon. And she goes get Simon. And they're about to leave the house. The girls will be right back, keep the doors locked. But then they hear some rustling. They hear some rustling from the living room, chat, where Simon just was. And she's like, was Simon there with you? He goes, no, I didn't see anybody. And they go back there, chat, and we see the skull face guy just looking through the laundry and just grabbing panties and going, it's like, dude, he's sniffing panties, the gross bastard. They're like, he's sniffing panties. And they're like, hey, you. And he's like, and they're like, get out of here. Get out of here, you. And then Simon grabs, he goes, what are you fucking doing? She goes, what? The guy's like fucking crazy, sniffing panties and shit. And she's like, he's just some fucking perv, okay? We can take him. You and I can take him. They go back around the corner, chat, but the guy has vanished. The guy's not there. And they're like, huh, that was fucking weird. That was fucking weird. After that, they're like, all right, let's go check on Dina. And Dina's like, okay, guys, I'm pissed off because they check on Dina and say, hey, Dina, that Peters guy broke into the house I was babysitting at, and he was sniffing the panties. And she goes, oh, he's a fucking panty sniffer. What a creep. And he was grabbing Sam's ass, and I grab her ass, and I don't like that. And I go, excuse me? They're like, nothing. We got to go and confront Sam right now at the hospital and tell her ass-grabbing boyfriend to back the fuck off, okay? Do you feel me? Like, we feel you, girl. We feel you. Testify. And so they then go back to the house, and they take the twins. They're like, come here. You organize the drugs very effectively. Good job. Here's your $5. And they go to the other neighbor, who is very weird. And I'm like, there's gonna be a thing with this neighbor, because she's like, don't worry, Kate. I'll take care of the children. And Kate's like, great. Just leaves. But I'm like, did anyone get creeped out by the neighbor lady and her whole weird disposition? She was just like, yes, come with me, children. We'll have so much fun. I was like, yeah. I don't trust her for a second, Chad. I feel a little uncomfortable. I'm like, we're gonna come back and she's gonna be doing some weird witchcraft to them. I bet she's like a witch. That's my theory, Chad. Is that you have the Sarah Fierce witch, Chad, of course, the old one that died. But then you also have all these other people that are practicing this witchcraft. I bet that's what it's going to be. That's just me. And so she's going to eat the kids. She's going to pull a goddamn Hansel and Gretel on them. Gretel and Hansel going to get at, Chad. That's what's going to happen. But we then go. They drive to the hospital, chat, the Shadyside Hospital, and they go in there, and they see the nurse, and the nurse is like stereotypical, like, whatever reason, this is like such a consistent thing, I think, in like all these films, but like they always have that like black sassy nurse, and she's always at the front desk, always going, It's like such a stereotype, and I see it all the time. Good to see you, Clad. But they're like, Dina goes up there and she goes, excuse me, ma'am, I'd like to see Sam. And she goes, honey, are you a member of the family? And she goes, I am not a member of the family, but I'm a very close friend. I wish to make her family someday. And she's like, and you can't go in. She's like, well, actually, my friend here, she's part of the family. She goes, It's like, all right. That's how your neighbor is. It's like, that's just the way it is. They're indulging that stereotype. And they're like, oh, you know what? It's okay. Because, if we just talk to Nurse Beatty, that would be good. And she's like, Nurse Beatty, all right, I'll ring Nurse Beatty. She'll help you, okay? I can't help you right now. And so we get Nurse Beatty. Who's Nurse Beatty, chat? And it's this guy who is Eddie, but he's just added a B onto his name tag, and he's wearing all pink. She goes, hello, how may I help you? And he's like, oh, Kate Simon, listen, I'm a little strapped right now. I can give you all the bananas and blueberries that you want. And he basically just steals drugs from the hospital and gives it to them, and he gets like part of the profits from their, from their drug selling chat. And they're like, we're not here to buy drugs. Jesus like, Beatty, come here. She's like, whoa. I want to talk to this patient. We're not here for blueberries and bananas, okay? Take me to Sam. And he's like, all right, I'll take you to Sam. And so they go down the hall. Meanwhile, Kate and Simon are like, we want food. Our tummies are hungry, and we want to go to the vending machine. And Josh is like, I can hack the vending machine for you. Like, you can hack it? He's like, hell yeah. And so they go to the vending machine, and that's the thing. Actually, they don't know they can hack it. Let's go to the vending machine and buy some snacks, but they don't have enough money between them. Even though they sell fucking drugs, they left all their drugs at home, right, with the twins. And so they're like, we need like change for like, can anyone have like $1? And he's like, oh, don't worry. And he goes up to the vending machine, goes beep, bop, boop, bop, boop. And all the fucking candy just starts falling out. You're like, whoa, how'd you fucking do that? It's like, I can hack stuff. It's the 90s, okay? Every child can hack things if they have a computer. But I love that they say it. Like, I know all the codes. Everyone shares them online. They're like, whoa, you're like really fucking cool. And Kate's like, that's kind of hot. You're like really hot in like a 14-year-old little boy kind of way. He goes, yo. Meanwhile, we cut to Sam, who is struggling to eat Jell-O, just like, she can't fucking do it. Doesn't help that she's like permanently cross-eyed now and just like, I missed again. But she's trying her best to get that Jell-O. But then fucking Dina comes in. And she's like, what up, bitch? And, Sam's like, Dina, what are you doing here? I'm trying to eat. Can you help me eat Jell-O, please? I want to eat Jell-O. She said, can't do that. You got to tell your boyfriend, Peters, to back the fuck off, okay? He's stalking around, like, our homes. He was in Kate's house sniffing panties and shit. Like, tell him to back the fuck. She's like, what are you talking about? Peters has been here the entire time, okay? He hasn't left all night. And she goes, that's fucking bullshit. Like, where is he now? He's like, I'm right here, bitch. Lesbo, bitch. And she's like, stop calling me that. It's very derogatory. He's like, whatever, man, whatever. And, Sam's like, Dina, listen, you need to go, okay? I don't know what the hell's going on. Peters has been here the whole time. She goes, no, he's been a fucking asshole. He's been stalking us. And she's like, who's been stalking? Like this guy in the skull mask, okay? And he threatened me last night and all my friends is saying that that we would fucking die, okay? And he's doing weird shit, so tell him to stop. And she's like, Peters, like, is this true? And he goes, and you're like, what the hell's wrong with you, dude? And oh my God, we see this blade come right through his tummy chat. And the skull guy's like, whoop, hello, everybody. I killed Peters. And he's like, whoa, and he falls to the ground and he's bleeding off. And Sam and Dina are like, ew! And they run. They start running shit. They try to get the hell out of there, chat, as they're being pursued by the skull guy. Meanwhile, chat, we cut to Simon and Kate and Josh, and they're just stuffing their tummies with chocolate, and they're like, this is so good. It's like the best day ever. And they're like, I wonder where Sam and Dina are. And we just hear them go, whoa! They just pass right by them, just fucking running, as they're like, and Simon's like, oh, did you two get back together again? And then they see the skull guy just going, ooh, 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 just chasing them, like, right, and they're like, who the fuck is that guy? What's this all about? And they go after them, Chip, but they get lost in the hospital, and we see all this despondent, like, patients just looking at TV, just like, our life fucking sucks. Our life fucking sucks. I'm watching this shitty movie. I got shitty lemonade here. I got shitty snacks here. I just need the drugs. That's all I need is my drugs. I need my bananas and blueberries. When they go to the front of the hospital, chat, where the nurse, she's been fucking eviscerated, chat. Her neck has been slit. We see a number of other hospital staff just been gutted. And we're like, oh my God. And they're hiding, chat. They get on the phone, they're calling the popo, they're calling the police. Like, we gotta they're not calling the police, but we gotta get the fuck out of here, so we're hiding. And Nurse Beatty comes in, and she's like, okay, what the hell's going on here? And she sees the skull face guy. She's like, sir, sir, you need to leave the premises, sir. And he walks up there and goes, it just right through her face, just stab, like right through the neck, and then stab, stab, stab. And Nurse Beatty Chat, she falls down dead. At this point, all of them meet up and like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. But they're like, where's the keys? Where's the car keys? She's like, I don't know where the car keys are. Why'd you lose the car keys, dude? Because you're stuffing your face with you know, Crackle and Kit Kat and Hershey's bar. He's like, hold on, we can steal the ambulance. And they somehow, miraculously, the keys are still in the ambulance yet. They all pile in there as the Skull guy's like, I'm gonna fucking get you. He's like running like the T-1000 chat from Terminator Judgment Day. Just, do you know this boy? Just chasing right after them, chat. But he's not able to catch them. And they go all the way to the fucking police station where Dina and Sam are trying to explain to this officer. It's like, sir, this fucking guy, his skull face. Oh, they actually see the mask comes off his face too. The mask falls off and it's Ryan. It's dead Ryan shit. The guy that got his fucking, got domed. Had his brains blasted out the back of his head. And Dina's like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell's that about, right? And she goes there and she tells his officer all this. And he's like, so you were being chased by the guy who my partner shot and killed 3 days ago. And they go, yes. And he goes, uh-huh, sure, okay. And like, you don't believe us, do you, officer? He's like, nah, I don't believe it. And there, eventually Sheriff Good, he gets in there, and then we see Dina. He's like, okay, I'm here to actually tell you what happened, what the fuck's going on. Sheriff Good's like, girls, listen, I don't know what's going on, but this guy didn't come back to life and try to hurt you. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the hospital and see what's going on, okay? But if you guys, you know, go home, all right? Go home. I have your statements. Thank you. Like, the first time we actually need you, we're not gonna do anything. You're not Sheriff. You're not Nate Good. You're Sheriff No Good. And he's like, oh, it hurts. It hurt him, Chad. It hurt him. Meanwhile, fucking Simon has wandered off. He's wandered off as Kate and Josh are talking some shit because he hears this, like, girl singing. And he, like, for whatever, Shadyside, there's no one out, chat. I guess, you know, because nothing else to do there except the mall, which is closed now because of the murders. But all of downtown is abandoned. And he just sees this random girl just sitting on the curb and going, la, 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 la. And he's like, hey, how you doing? Like, I'd be like, if someone was singing that, I'd be a little concerned. But he's like, hey, girl, how you doing? He walks up to her, and then he sees, like, oh, my God. Because she, like, looks up, and she has a razor, and it's all blood everywhere. And she's like, la, 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 oh! And she launches herself. He's like, eh! And she's like stabbing him, chat, with the razor. He's like, get off me, holy fucking shit. Like, struggling with her and stuff. We then cut back to the police station where, you know, the officer is escorting Dina and Sam and Kate and Josh out of it. And he's like, you stay out of trouble now, okay? She's like, fuck you, dude. And she, like, Dina jumps on top of him. He's like, whoa, get your goddamn hands off me. What's wrong? Don't test me, lady. Don't test me, okay? I'm the kind of guy that's not to be tested. And she's like, I'm sorry, officer. I'm just, you know, I have the vapors. He's like, the vapors. I understand. Okay, well, you get going, all right? Now you stay out of trouble. Ha ha. Shadyside. But he goes out. We cut chat. She stole his gun. She took his gun. It's like, oh, shit, here we go. And we cut back to Simon, who's, like, struggling to stop the singing girl from, like, stabbing him and stuff. It's like, oh, this is bad. This is not good at all. But eventually, right before she's about to, like, slit him across the throat, she, like, just right in the eyeball or something, like, slit his face. Boom, boom, boom. She gets shot. Her fucking head explodes. And she goes down. And Simon's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And he, like, hobbles over. He's like, this crazy fucking bitch tried to kill me. Can you believe that? And I'm like, holy shit, like, something's coming after us. What the hell is going on? And Josh is like, I know what it is. We have to go home now. And as they're walking away, no, before they walk, they hear, la, 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 la. And the girl's coming back up. She's reanimating. She's like, la, 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 oh, get back to the ambulance, get back to the, and they all fucking go back to the ambulance, chat. And they ride that shit. And they go all the way home. They go all the way home. And they end up in the basement. They end up in the basement. where Josh starts explaining all this shit. He's like, all these people, that fucking singing girl, the Ryan, these are all serial killers. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, this girl right here, I know who she is. And he talks about the singing girl, mentions what her name was. And they're like, I never heard of that one. That's because it happened in 1967. And they're like, what? And he goes to the board and he shows a picture. And it's that girl. And he here's another one. Here's another one. And it's like Shadyside, in case you forgot, chat, is the murder capital of the United States. And all these random acts of violence, all these people, seemingly ordinary people, just fucking snapped. And they killed all these people, triple murder, triple homicide, 10 people, 18 people, like all these things have happened ever since 1666. And they're like, Sarah Fierce, that's right, the witch. She was accused of witchcraft, and she was hung by the fucking neck until dead and buried. And then that's when all the murders, after her death, that's when all these killers started popping up. The first killer, this preacher guy, of this community, chat, he carved out his own eye, he carved out the eyes of all the children in this village, chat, and propped them all up in his church before he scooped out his own eyeballs. And we're like, whoa, holy fucking shit, but why's the witch coming after us? Doesn't make any sense. Like, why us? Why? And then Sam's like, I know why. And they're going, what are you talking about? When the accident, I felt her. What do you mean you felt her? On the moss when the car crashed, I touched her bones. They're like, you disturbed the grave of Sarah Fierce? And like, that's where she is. And they're like, holy fucking shit. Well, and Simon's like, well, here's the thing. What if, we apologize? What if we, make sure her grave looks all nice and neat and shit and put the moss back on top and we just say, we're sorry. And they're like, it's worth a shot. And so they all get into the ambulance. And they drive down to the spot where the car's still there, crash car and shit. I guess they haven't moved it yet. But they go there, they'll go there, and they uncover the moss, and yep, there's the fucking Sarah Fierce, all like, ah. You see, like, even she has this giant lock on her body because she was all chained up. They're like, they wanted to make sure that bitch was dead. Make sure that she stayed buried. And it says Fears on it. It's like, all right, that's pretty appropriate. And they're like, okay, all right, let's put all this stiff stuff in here, make sure it looks all nice and neat, bury it. And Simon's like, all right, Miss Fierce, we're really sorry we disturbed your grave. I hope you have a nice sleep. Good night. And that's it. And it's like, I think we did it. I think we're good. Look, the Boston Activities. Why do today's shows try to make suburban Midwestern towns and murder capitals of the world or USA? The same thing with Riverdale. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like, because you know what? Nothing. The reason why is because nothing happens in these ordinary towns. And when something like this happens, it's like so much more shocking. It's like a little slice of Americana. Small towns of small people enjoying their small lives. But then murder! That's why it does, because it's like so over exaggerated. That's what it works. It's like when you think of like New York City, Detroit, Chicago. It's like people always getting shot and getting stabbed and shit. And so it's just like, it doesn't have the same impact. But like little small town, little middle of nowhere, Smallville, middle of nowhere, fucking someone kills 18 people. It's like, holy fucking shit. Like that's why. And they're like, oh, I guess it worked. But meanwhile, Josh is like, he's like looking out. He's like looking for it. He sees like this figure coming at him. He goes, guys, and this fucking Jason Voorhees Leatherface looking guys, it's just beelining right towards them and goes right like this guy. That's like a scarecrow. He's got like a scarecrow burlap sack mask. He had this huge fucking axe in it. And he's like, oh shit, but it doesn't hit him because it would have killed. Like Josh he ain't running fast anytime soon, chat. But he just passes by him because he just goes like this, and it goes right by him, and it goes by the other kids, but it's going right towards Sam, and Sam's like she's having another derpy vision and shit, and her nose is bleeding and everything, and Dina grabs Sam just in the nick of time, but fucking the axe guy slices her back, chat. Burlap sack slashes her back. And they're like, we gotta get in the fucking ambulance. And they all pile in the ambulance, chat. Kate takes off while the guy in the axe is like, ooh, and he stops. He just stares at them. He just stares at them as they continue down the road. And Kate's like, what the fuck is happening? What's going on? Okay? We reburied her. We said we were sorry. What do we do? Are we just fucked? And Sam's like, no, you guys aren't fucked. I'm the one that's fucked. They're like, what are you talking about? He's coming after me. He's coming after me. Sarah Fierce is mad at me, and she's sending all these killers after me. That's what it is. These are all her victims, all these people that she's forced to kill for her out of revenge against Shadyside. And they look at Josh. Josh is like, yeah, checks out with me. That sounds about right. And so what the hell are we going to do now, guys? What's the plan here? And they're like, we got to do some Scooby-Doo shit. And they're like, Scooby-Doo shit it is. And so we go to the school. And they're like, okay. Oh, that's the other thing. Because Dina mentions, but wait a minute. Like some of the other killers, like the singing girl, she was going, that's not true, Sam, that's not true. The singing girl attacked Simon, trying to stab him, trying to kill him. And Josh's like, it's the blood. It's the blood. They're attracted to the blood. Simon was wearing that shirt that was covered in Sam's blood. And it's why the Skullface guy was inside the house. He was not sniffing panties, Chet. He's not a pervert. He's a serial killer. Okay, there's a difference. And he was sniffing the bloody shirt because that's what he's looking for. And Dina's like, well, what about me? And he's like, there's fucking blood on your shoe when Sam projectile vomited on you. She goes, oh, yeah, shit, that's why. And it's like, yeah, it's the reason. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to fucking, we're going to cut Sam open and just bleed her. Bleed her dry, and we're gonna do some Scooby-Doo shenanigans. They're like, great. And so they all go to school, and I'm like, okay, this is the plan. First things first, we are all going to wash ourselves. You got to get all the blood off of ourselves right now. That's very, very important. And so they all go in their separate rooms. Like Sam and Dina go in the one room, Josh and Kate go in another bathroom, and Simon, he goes into a bathroom by himself. And, you know, Dina and Sam, they're like taking each other's clothes off, and they're like, oh my God, I want to grab ass. And Sam's like, is it okay if I grab your, Dina's like, Sam, is it okay if I grab your ass? And she's like, go for it. And they go, and they start having copious amounts of sexual intercourse, Shed. They go at it. Meanwhile, we cut to Josh and Kate, and Josh is like, oh, I feel so weird in my nether regions, because Kate's all in her bra and panties now. And she's like, Joshua, yeah. He's like, yeah. Next thing, we shall sacrifice her to the demon god Scrappy. Yay! And everything shall be right in the world. Thank you, Dark Side of the 5 Minis. I appreciate that. But she's like, I need you to bathe me. He's like, oh, God. And he goes into a stall, and he starts, like, sponge bathing her. And he's like, you know, if this is going to be our last night, we should do things. She's like, okay. She like looks at him like, all right, why not? And they go at it, chat. Nia Brownie, hey, shut up, I'm Joshin over here. Oh, so hi, good to see you, Nia Brownie. Blab, blab, blab. Thank you for the 3 biddies. Chris Lee, Josh. Well, I'm not saying which Josh. But they go at it, and Simon, he's just like looking at himself in the mirror. He goes like, yeah, I'm gonna jerk off. He just starts jerking shit. And everyone comes out of the bathrooms and stuff because, you know, they did their thing. And Josh is like, yeah, we did it. She's like, barely got to first base with him. And then Sam and Dina come out, and they're all holding hands because they had a hot sex chat. And, you know, Simon's like, oh, did you guys all go to Pound Town? Me too. They're all laughing. But like, all right, let's set all this up. And so they bleed Sam a little bit. They cut her hand, and they put it in like a buckets of water, chat. And they start like get these mops, and it's all leading to this one location, chat. So the different entry points of the school, but it's all leading to one location, to the bathroom, chat, to the bathroom, which they're all putting a big old mess of blood in there. Chat is like dumping all that shit. So anytime these guys come in here, they're gonna go to the bathroom, okay? They then put Sam in one of the stalls, and they open up the ventilation shaft above for which where they were hiding their drug stash before, chat, because, you know, it's hard to like sneak into school every day with the fucking drugs. We're going to keep it where they least suspect it at the actual school in the ventilation shaft, but now it's like a secret like ventilation shaft, so they'll have to be able to go in there. And so they're all waiting. And they're like, oh, there's the killers. And so we see Burlap Sack Guy. We see La 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 Sitting Girl. And also Skullface Guy. And they all burst into the fucking school, and they're like, we need to kill a girl. And they're following the blood. They're like truffle pigs. Just smelling that blood, chat. And they all end up in the fucking bathroom, chat, where they're like, whoa, they each open a stall, like Sitting Girl, Skull Guy, and then Axeman, who goes, whoa, and he like slams his axe into a mannequin, and he's like, huh? And he looks up, and Sam has gone to the ventilation shaft, and they're like, ah, shit. Meanwhile, we cut to the door, and they've tied it up with like a bunch of jump ropes and like seriously Scooby-Doo bullshit shit, like a bunch of jump ropes and stuff, and they're holding it back. But we realized that was not water. That was not water that they were mixing that blood with, Chad, on the ground in the bathroom. No, it was kerosene. And I'm like, all right, guys, here we go. And they fucking get their lighter, boop, light that shit, and it goes underneath the door. And where a burlap sack, skull guy, and la 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 girl are all set on fire, and they explode, Chad. There's so much kerosene, they explode everywhere, and they go boom, and it almost brings the door, like it shoots the door off its hinges. And they go in there with like these fire extinguishers, and they put out the thing, and it's just this molten meat, all this meat, well done, sloppy meat, and they're like, woo, yeah, motherfuckers, come back from that, yeah. And Simon's all happy about it, and they're looking like, yeah, we did, everybody, we did it, fuck you, Sarah Fierce. But Josh is like, huh, because he's looking at this big old pile of sloppy wet meat, and it's going, it's all moving and shit. He goes, what the hell? And he looks around, and people's like, what is it, Josh? He's like, that. And they see like this piece of meat just fall off the hand blower thing. And some of the stuff starts crawling out of the sink, and it's going towards this pile of meat on the floor. It's all CGI, and the CGI looks very good. It helps that it's all in darkness, so it adds to it. Makes it look a little bit better. And it gets bigger until it bursts like a hand that goes for Josh, like this skeletal, meaty cadaver hand. And they're like, oh, fucking shit. And then this thing like starts coming back to life. It starts like... Kind of very Hellraiser-esque, this scene, which I kind of dug. Like a CGI Hellraiser-esque scene. And they all start fucking running. And they go inside of a classroom, and they lock this shit. And, you know, Simon's like, we're fucked. We're all fucked at this point. And Kate's like, no, we're not fucked. Sam's fucked, okay? And they're like, what are you saying? It's like, listen. And he's like, I'm sorry, Dina, but we tried everything. It's not working. Sam needs to die in order for us to live, okay? And they're like, we can't do that. We can't do that. Simon is like, I mean, you broke up with her. She's like, Josh. Josh is just like, I don't like running. She's like, you guys are fucking awful. And then Kate and Sam's like, it's okay. It's okay. This is what needs to happen. You're right. I need it. She's like, no. And Simon and Kate like hold her back. And she's like, you guys are fucking monsters. You're terrible. And Sam goes outside, and she's just standing out there, just like, well, waiting to die. Well, burlap sack guy, like I guess he was the one that survived, like Skullface guy and la 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 sing girl. They didn't come back. But he's like, hold on, I'll be with you in a minute. I need to reform my my right leg. It's not back yet. I'll kill you in a second, girl. Hold on now. But Dina, she's all sad and shit. But eventually, because Josh is like, oh, wait a minute, there's something. Oh, yes. And he's just like, this newspaper clipping I was carrying on my person the entire time. We're like, what? And then we cut outside you where burlap sack is like, okay, right leg is good. I'm going to go kill you. And he's like, coming right towards her. And Sam's like, I'm ready to die. Jesus, take me, Lord. But right before he swings the axe jab, but Sam feels herself being grabbed. And she's pulled back inside of the classroom. And she's like, what's going on, guys? You're saying, here's the thing. There was a survivor, okay? This person who was attacked by the witch, and they made it through. And they're like, what? And he's like, look. And meanwhile, Simon and Kate are holding the door as axe murderer burlap sack guy is chopping his way through. And they're like, okay, come on, do the exposition quick. Come on, let's do it. And he's like, there's this person named C. Bierman or Berman or something like that. I'm tired of being wonky idea. That killed me. Dina, I'm ready to die. I can't eat Jello anymore, Dina. You know what it's like not being able to eat Jello. It's so sad. But Josh explains that in 1978, the night, because that's the killer they're being chased by. I forget his name. It's what's the camp called? The Nightwing Massacre of 1978. They're being chased by the Nightwing killer. That's got the burlap sack. And they're saying that there was like 18 people killed, a lot of fucking dead kids, chat, a lot of dead nerdy kids. But there was one survivor, and it was C. Berman. But he's like, oh no, oh Jesus Christ, she died. Wait a minute. But and they're like, but no, they read further. She was dead for a few minutes, but then she was resuscitated by Nick Good? Sheriff Nick Good? Wait a minute. Does he know more than he's letting on? Transition! And we cut to Nick Good chat where he's at the hospital. He's like, there's a lot of fucking dead people in here. And he's like, those kids are right. And he tried to find the kids, but he can't find them. He goes back to the sheriff office, and he does the report. Also, Martin's there. Martin, the janitor from earlier, chat. He's been arrested for graffiti. He's like, come on, man, let me out. And I'm sorry, Martin, you're a serial graffitiist. You have to stay in jail. He's like, motherfucker, God damn it. But as he's leaving, Chet, he goes out to his squad car, which is parked right next to, he was like near the hospital or some shit. And he goes out there. And he sees in the middle of the street, like all this blood where Simon's getting stabbed. And he goes and he sees that. He sees the locket, the girl. He opens it up, and it's the picture of the sitting girl killed. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And so he drives to this house where he writes, like he stops in front of it. And he seems like he's trying to like compose himself. He looks really awkward, chat. And he writes this note. He goes up to the house and he slits it through the mail slot. And where it lands in the ground, it opens up, like magically, and it says, it's happening again. It's like, please help. And it's like, shit. It's like, oh, shit. Like, what's this all about, chat? We'll find out next time in Fear Street 1978, but we're not on Fear Street 1978. We're in 1994 right now, okay? There's a lot of the rest of the movie, but we cut back. And they realize, like, okay, she was resuscitated, so she's dealt with this before. We need to call. Let's get her on the phone. And they look her up in the phone. You have to look at, there's a thing called a phone book, chat. And they have a phone book, thankfully, in the laboratory of the school. And, they find her, C. Berman, that's the lady. And they call up, and it's like, man, and Dina, she calls. She's like, it's raining until it finally clicks in. She's like, oh, listen, C. Berman, my name is Dina. I'm with my friends. We're being pursued by a whole bunch of serial killers that were probably resurrected by the witch. And you went through something similar. And then it hits the voicemail. It's like, this is C. Berman. Please leave your name and number after the beep, and I'll try to get back to you. And they're like, fuck! And then she just says the whole thing over again. It's like, hi, my name is Dina. I'm with my friends. We're being traced by the killers that happened in 1978. You were the sole survivor. How do we fucking beat this? How you're the only one that can help us. Please, for the love of God, help us. Help us! As the fucking axeman or burlap sack, as the was the Nightwing massacreist, chat. The murderers, he breaks through the doors like, come here! Like doing the Jack Torrance thing. But before he can, chat, they all run out the window and they run across the schoolyard. He's like, fuck! Oh, Jesus, God, I gotta do more running. Eventually, they're like, okay. Because they're driving the ambulance. There's only one thing we need to do. We need to kill Sam, but we can bring her back. That's what we can do. And they're like, what can do that? And they're like, fucking copious amounts of drugs. And so they go to the grocery store that Simon works at, which is very funny because we see like the wall of employee of the month, and Simon's been employee of the month for like 3 years. It's just him going, yeah, it's pretty. I love that. I was like, oh, it's a cool little aesthetic gag. I love that. It's very funny. But they all there, and he's like, all right, I raided the pharmacy, and he's like, you need to ingest, like, it looks like 3 pounds of pills. It's like, oh my God, she's gonna look pregnant just with pills, Chad. He's like, you need to eat all these blueberries, you need to eat all these bananas, all these oranges, but then before you eat the oranges, you then gotta take these melons. She's like, my tummy's gonna feel bad. And he's like, yes, your tummy's gonna feel bad, but it will kill you, and then we'll resurrect you in a bit. Okay, here's an EpiPen. This is adrenaline, baby. We're gonna stab this into your tummy, and then you're gonna vomit all that stuff up, and you're gonna feel a lot better. But you'll be dead, and all these people will stop killing us, okay? And she's like, okay. Meanwhile, we're gonna Scooby-Doo this place, okay? We're gonna put this on lockdown so we can kill you. And so, at this point, Dino's like, all right, open up, Sam. We gotta stuff you full of pills. Just one after the other, Chad, in that girl's tummy. Meanwhile, Simon's like, I think I hear something in the back room. I'm gonna go off and check. And Josh is like, no. We shouldn't split up. He's like, it's the only way we can cover more ground. He's like, that's a really bad idea. Simon goes in the back, and he hears that, la, 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 la. And he's like, I'm ready for her. I'm ready for her this time. And he's like in complete darkness. And we, you know, this La La, again, the La La singing girl gives herself away. And Simon's like, oh, I know where she is. And goes, bah! And he just punches her in the fucking face. She's like, la, la, la. And she falls down. And he just runs out of the back area of the store. Just, meanwhile, we cut to Kate, and Josh is kind of like in the middle of the aisles, like, you know, I'm gonna check for killers and stuff, okay? But Kate, she's like patrolling and stuff. She sees something and she leaves Dina and Sam, and Sam's just like, I don't feel very good, and she's like vomiting all this stuff, and Dina's like, honey, you gotta keep eating the pills, gotta keep doing it. I know it hurts, baby, I know, but you keep stuffing her full of pills. But eventually, the Skullface guy comes in. Skullface guy comes in there, and he's like right up on them, about to grab them, chat. But fucking Kate comes out of nowhere with a bottle of Farrah Fawcett spray, chat, and a lighter, and starts burning this motherfucker. She's like, get the fuck back, asshole. I got this, guys. And they're like, thank you, Kate. Thanks. She goes, don't worry. He's never messed with Kate before. She's just burning him. But he's all right, stop that. Whacks the thing out of her hands, chat. And they just start like fighting. She uses like a muffin pan to like stop. He's trying to stab. She's like, muffin pan, muffin pan, muffin pan. He's like, oh, fucking hate the muffin pan. But eventually he gets her good in the tummy right there. Gets her good in the tummy, chat. And then he just grabs her and he puts her on this bread cutting machine, chat. It's the bread cutting machine. And it's like, oh no. It also slams her face into like a fucking cake. Like, no. She's like, ah. And he's like holding her down as she's getting closer and closer to the bread cutting machine, chat. She's like, no. And you just see her whole fucking noggin, her noggin goes through the bread cutting machine, and it slices her half into 7 slices of face. Have you ever seen a face go through a bread cutting machine, chat, and get sliced into 7 thick slices? I have. And just goes right in there, and Kate's killed. And, you know, Simon and Josh, they hear this, and they're like, no, Kate. And Simon's like, Josh, what are we gonna... And he does a giant fucking axe just comes right down on him. He's like, and it's the burlap sack guy, Chad. It's the Nightwing massacreist. And Josh is like, no, Simon. And he's like, oh, he like runs away, Chad. He's being pursued by the Skullface guy and the Nightwing killer. Meanwhile, we again cut to the lobster tank where Dina's like, okay, I gotta drown you in the lobster tank now, Sam. She's like, do what you gotta do, dude. And she just starts drowning her, chat, trying to kill her. She's like, just make sure you kill me. And eventually Josh is like, he's being like, the killers are all on top of him, and this is like, oh no, and like more killers show up, and they're like just about to, I think it's like the skull guy's about to stab Dina, but you know, we cut to Sam, she's like, and she dies, and they'll go, ah, and they all disappear, and they drag fucking Sam out, and they do the resuscitate, she goes, and she vomits all that shit out, chat, and she's alive. She's been resuscitated. And Josh and Dina and Sam are like, we did it, everybody. We did it. I mean, Simon and Kate are fucking dead. But other than that, we did good. We then cut to the police station where they're all being interviewed with Sheriff Nick Goods like, all right, I know what you told me. I know everything about the witch and these killers and everything that happened to Simon and Kate. But you know that these people will not believe that. Okay? And she's like, there's more to you, all right? You know, there's more to you. You why didn't you believe us? She's like, I'm sorry. I should have believed you. Okay? This town is fucked up. I know. I've been through it. Wink. Okay? But the official story of the department's going to be that Simon and Kate, they were selling drugs, and they got high, and they went crazy based on a bad dose, and they slaughtered all these people. That's going to be the official story. I'm telling you right now. Nothing I can do about it. Because I can't get out there and tell people that this fucking witch has been possessing people for the past nearly 300 plus years, all right? And forcing them to kill all these other citizens. It's not going to work. And she's like, is there anything else you want to tell me? She goes, that's the official story, isn't it? All nice and neat. Just another tragic event in Shadyside. And he's like, I'm sorry I couldn't help you. We then cut outside where Josh is hanging out with Martin, and he's like, hey, nerd, Urkel. Urkel. He's like, what? He's like, help a brother out, man. Give you out these cuffs. And Josh drops a paper clip on the ground. He's like, you can get you out of the cuffs. He's like, thanks, little man. Here's my card. It'll probably be very relevant for the third movie when I come back, because I'm not in the second one at all. And he's like, thanks, Martin. I'll call on you soon. And they leave. We then cut, and we're at the hospital and shit. Oh no, we're at the police station where Sam, again, we do not see Dina and Josh's father at all. He does not pick them up. We have no idea where the fuck he is. But then we cut to the front of the police station where Mrs. Sam's mom's there. And she's like, Sam, come here. Get away from that Dina, that lesbian poor. And she goes, Mom, okay, I just want to let you know about something. And she, and because that's, before they do that, because Dina's like, hey, Sam, so do you want to hang out later and do some stuff? I know your boyfriend just died, but you want to hang out? And she goes, yeah, of course I do. Of course, yeah. She's like, tomorrow? She's like, yeah. And that's when Sam's mom comes in. She's like, Sam, get away from that poor lesbian. And she's like, Mom, okay, that poor lesbian is my poor lesbian. And she just walks up to Dina and goes, Rah! And they just have she gives a big old sloppy kiss, chat. And she says, and I'm going to see you later this evening. And we're gonna have sex. And Dina's like, hell yeah. And then Sam's mom grabs her and they walk out. We then cut to where it said I don't know, I guess it's later that evening. I assume. Screw you, Mom. Yeah, it's my poor lesbian. We then cut to Dina's room, and they're playing their cassette tape, because it's the 90s, no CDs, the cassette tape, and listen to 90s music, and they're cuddling and they're smooching, and it's really cute. It's really cute and stuff. Josh is downstairs. He's on the computer and things. He's typing away, getting into talking to Milady. But then, as Sam and Dina are they're smooching, there's a ring-a-ding-ding on the phone, and Dina's like, oh. And so she goes back. Also, apparently, we get a fake out scare where she hears someone moving on the first floor. She goes, what? But it's just Josh, and he's like, it's the pizza guy. She's like, you bought dinner? She's like, yeah, I'm getting out more. Okay, close to the front door this time. Good job, little bro. I love you, little bro. I love you too, big sis. And they hug and stuff. But she goes to the phone because it's been fucking ringing this whole time, and she answers. She goes, hello, and the person on the line goes, so you're still alive, huh? And she goes, who is this? This is C. Berman. You called me the night that they were after you. The killers. And she's like, yeah, a little too late, lady. We've already dealt with it. And C. Berman's like, oh, you've dealt with it. No, you don't understand. You don't deal with it. It never stops. You can't beat the witch. She's always after you. And her name, someone's name will be on there. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then we cut. And we're in this weird fucking altar, underground or in a cave or something, and it's all these torches and stuff, and there's this figure wearing this almost looks like a clan robe, except it's all black. It's I guess it's witch's outfit. It's really interesting looking witch's outfit, and they're sitting before this altar, and on this giant stone tablet we see dozens and dozens and dozens of names, and at the bottom this another name is being scrawled out as Dina's talking to C. Berman, chat. And C. Berman's like, she'll never stop. She'll always want revenge. And she knows where you are. And it says, and we cut to Sam. She's like, my tummy. and we cut back to the rock. And on the stone tablet it says Sam something or other. I don't know what her last name is, but it says Sam. And then Dina's like, oh no. And C. Berman's like, be careful. The thing that you should do right now is to leave Shadyside and never look back. Leave this place the first chance you get. Goodbye. And then she's like, huh? And she turns around and she sees Sam just going, oh. She's like, Sam? And then she's like, ow, my tummy. And she looks down and Sam has stabbed Dina with I don't know what, a pencil? I don't know what this thing is. She's like, what is that fucking thing? It's sharp though. Like an art tool of some kind. I don't know if it's for scratching. I don't know. It's whatever. But she stabbed her. She's like, ugh, and she falls down. Meanwhile, we cut to Josh. Thank you, funny little jokes of the 5 biddies. We cut to Josh, who's talking to Milady. Milady's like, where the fuck you been, Josh, man? Mr. Silence, whatever the hell's, his chat room name is. And he's like, there's been some crazy shit happening. She's like, have you heard? He's like, I understand that. Have you heard about those 2 junkies in the supermarket going crazy and killing those people? And Josh is like, those junkies, they weren't junkies. That's not the real thing. That's fake. That's a fake story I was put out there. I knew who they were. Simon. He was funny. He was smart. He was so brave. And then there was Kate. She was kind. She was everything I wanted. And he's like typing all this out, and then all of a sudden, chat, he sees behind him, this hand comes out and grabs him. He's like, and he turns around, and it's Dina, and she's like, my tummy doesn't feel great because I have like a pencil sticking out of it. Come up to the kitchen. And it takes him up to the kitchen, chat, where we have Sam. It's just like, it's such a cartoon. It's such a Scooby-Doo thing. She's been tied up with the phone cord. She's like, arr, arr, rah, 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 rah. I just love that she's like tied up with the phone cord. Like, you could break out of the phone cord pretty easily. It's like plastic and a little bit of wire. But she's like, and then we get a montage of Next Time on Fear Street, 1978, where we see that Dina and Josh have gone to talk to C. Berman, chat, and C. Berman's like, you think you went through the fucking shit? You think your Scream scenario was tough? Let me tell you about my fucking Friday the 13th scenario in Fear Street, Part 2, 1978. Boom! But, chat, that's next time. That's tomorrow, chat, because this is the end of Part 1, the end of my scene by scene by scene by scene breakdown, chat. Overall, really enjoyed the movie. As I said before, technically, very well made. Liked the rapport between a lot of the actors, even if the writing wasn't that great. Kills were extremely well done. CGI was well done. Love the editing. Love the transitioning between all the different scenes. It was used for humor, too, very effectively. It establishes a fun mystery about the witch and, like, the mythology and stuff. And occasionally a little exposition. But overall, really enjoyable, chat. Like, I would give it on a DT scale. Like I gave it yesterday when we reviewed it. I would give it a matinee, chat. It's the very definition of a matinee. But really enjoyed it. I mean, fun to act out. It was! Oh, Lord. Those junkies were my junkies. That's what he basically says. Bilbo, back in the zombie tall. Good to see you, Bilbo. Thank you for the 50 biddies. Ooh, yes. Next time. Tomorrow, though. So it's not far off. It's not too far off. But I hope you enjoyed that review, chat. It was fun for me. Best bedtime. So yeah, you like that bedtime story? It's like, yeah, it's like reading this is how this is how I'm gonna read my my kids their books, chat, when they're like, you know, 5 and shit. And then this fucking killer came out and he stabbed her in the tummy like over and over again. And she fucking died. Mommy, Daddy's reading stories to us again. It's like, I'm sorry, I get excited. I would make a kick-ass child storyteller, chat. I'd be really fucking good. Great movie. Yeah, it's just fun. It's just good. It's a good summer movie. I watched these like one day after each other, and very entertaining. That was great. Dina was poked. She got poked good in her tummy, and she's walking around now. So I guess they just put some Scotch tape, and she's like, I'm good. Great review, Chris. Thank you this time. I'm glad you guys do. I told you, doing horror movies, doing slasher reviews, these are always so much fun because they're always over the top and stuff, and they have a good sense of humor about them most of the time. I'm glad you enjoyed the review, chat. I'm going to take a quick break, my friends. I'm going to go ahead and freshen up my beverage, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to be playing some Mass Effect 3, chat. We'll continue our adventures to defeat those goddamn Reapers, okay? We got to kill them dead, chat. Kill them dead. So please do stick around, chat. I'll be right back.